Welcome to today's session. You'll be the first speaker today. And Shanta basically makes it possible for rural women to access and carry on their businesses with ease, thanks to her very innovative technology, green technology. Shanta, if you could share your screen and begin, you have 7 minutes. You will have a pitch session. This will be followed by 7 minutes Q&A from our present investors or anyone within the panel. So kindly share your screen so that we could begin.
Okay, so essentially, as I said,
Sorry about that.
I'm the director of Mobility for Africa. We're a startup working in Zimbabwe. We've been working on trying to solve the rural mobility crisis. In many parts of the continent, we have at least 40% of the population living at least 2 to 50, 100 kilometers from a main road. Essentially, most African people live from far away from a main road, and last mile mobility is a critical factor that hinders so much of their development. Not only does it impact on social indicators, contributes to maternal health, contributes to kids dropping out of school, contributes to just time loss and a huge physical burden for women. But essentially, it also dramatically impacts on their ability to get their goods to the market. And while we can invest in improved agriculture, we really need to solve the bottleneck for people to access and sell their commodities, reach their fields, carry their inputs and their fertilizers. I would say that, we talk about the SDGs a lot. It's driving the ESG agenda. But underpinning all of them is mobility. If we don't have logistics and transport, as we know, this continent won't be able to overcome the types of hurdle it faces. And if we're going to slow urban migration, we're going to have to make rural areas more viable. And that means investing in small-scale farmers and investing in mobility solutions that they can afford and access. So we've been focused on how do we do that. We've started with trying to, we took off the shelf from China, but we are adapting and trying to develop the first African electric off-road tricycle. Why a tricycle? Because essentially rural women need to carry a lot of stuff. And the Humber, as we call it, which means go in Ndebele, can carry 300 to 400 kilos. For a woman, it's fantastic. She can put things in the back, she can carry kids, it can carry people, and essentially she doesn't straddle. A lot of African rural women don't know how to bike ride, and bike riding is great, but it's also difficult to go long distances trying to carry heavy loads. A motorbike can only carry, for example, 100 kgs, and in the case of most of our customers, utility is fine. We're not looking for speed, we're looking for the burden of carrying heavy loads. So a 20-kilometre low-speed vehicle is perfect. We're also trying to focus on what's happening in the mobility sector globally, which is shared and green. The challenge, I suppose, that has why has rural Africa remained cut off and isolated is in part because petrol is imported in most countries, it's expensive, and it's not readily available in rural areas. So here we now have an enormous opportunity that comes with I think the synergy of investment in renewable and off-grid renewable and rural electrification with the advent of electric mobility, and obviously the huge investments going into types of battery storage. As I said, we also now have a huge potential through mobile money and digital applications to make this segment of the market, the informal and rural, a viable segment. Often I get frustrated, to be frank, because people don't believe that rural populations are economically viable. And from our experience, they are. It's not just an income, but it's directly linked to their assets and what they grow. So with the right support, they can be enormously productive. Now, I've got limited time, but just to say, we know this revolution's happening. East Africa is the heart of two-wheelers, but we argue that three-wheelers also have a huge potential to play. Transport is essentially a male's business. It's not designed for women, and we as a company are not going to exclude men, but we want to start at the bottom. We want to start with 50% of the population, and 80% of the workforce that do the rural small scale productivity that need this solution. It is incredulous that we expect rural women to continue to carry enormously heavy loads and think it's acceptable. In terms of technology, we know it's not as easy as when we first started. We've spent 3 years investing in R&D. We've built our own bespoke battery. We have an integrated battery that can be used for storage and mobility. We have, basically we can use the grid, we can use solar, and we can use blended models to set up charging stations with a battery swapping system to cover a radius of 50 kilometres, with batteries going about 100 kilometres with a 300 to 400 kg load. What we're aiming to do is build a replicable, scalable fleet model that can cater to the aggregate demand in community for transport. So not just a buyer and seller mode, but transport and logistics services, groups renting and buying the tricycle, or leasing the tricycle, paying over time, individual farmers that obviously have more income to be able to lease to purchase. So we're not looking at just one strict segment. We've been testing logistics and transport. We know that in rural areas, at least 20 to 40% of incomes is spent on transport, and that doesn't factor in the waste of time and often the lost commodities that don't get to market. The ability to collect data and sort of start to build an evidence base for this informal economy is enormous. Not just to better plan resources for urban areas, but also to be able to create, finance, give them a chance to access the financing and resources they need, as well as planned social services. So as I said, our business model is not a straightforward one, but we've been testing it and we know a fleet management can work. We're looking at different types of financial partnerships with institutions. Obviously, the capex cost to set up a charging station is not cheap, but with renewable energy, it pays for itself over time. I'm going to stop, and just to say we are very much looking for equity investors. We are looking to raise $3 million this year, so we can expand to at least 5 to 10 sites in the eastern part of Zimbabwe, and then we have plans to expand and replicate in southern and eastern Africa and West Africa as well. The demand is there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francine, for the wonderful presentation, and you are really doing a very noble assignment of helping rural women move their goods and services in the remotest area of the world. So I'd welcome questions from investors present. If you have a question for Francine, these might be about our business model. We will your question. Raise your hand. The design that love that you designed the transport for women. Are you 100% correct that women in Africa will not ride motorbikes? Great work. I don't know whether that was a question, but thank you so much.
No, we know
you
women
could
ride
maybe
motorbikes.
respond on that.
No, we know women ride motorbikes, but what I find interesting is East Africa has had a motorbike boom in the last 10 years. If you come south, you cross the border from Zimbabwe to Zambia, you don't have the Bodhi revolution. And I'm not sure it's coming to Southern Africa. We have a different cultural setup here. So motorbikes are there. They're mainly used for delivery, not for people moving. And I would argue that a motorbike is great for certain purposes, but a tricycle that can carry 300 to 400 kg beats a motorbike where a woman still has to straddle. And we, just to give you an example, we have customers that are 80 years old, so we can teach them to drive. I'm not saying every woman, of course, can drive anything, and motorbikes have their place. But in rural off-grid areas, our experience is that women want to carry heavy loads and they need to carry kids and multiple purposes. And just to say, Southern Africa is slightly different than the East African motorbike revolution.
Thank you so much for that, Shanta. Maybe if Yeah, maybe if you could tell us about your financial history. What have you been able to raise so far, and what have you been working on, say, for the last 1 or 2 years? And where do you see your business in the next 2 to 3 years? So, if you could just give us that very brief
Sure.
financial history.
Sorry. So we started with a crowdfunding campaign to test the pilot. I'm sorry, I have a very noisy dog. And then we essentially have gone to, we crowdfunded, and then we've been very lucky to basically be dependent on grants, which we don't want to do. We did start earning revenue in 2020. From the very beginning, women have been paying for our services, but essentially, COVID definitely was a difficult challenge. And we're obviously located in Zimbabwe, which is a great country to invest, but has a lot of risk associated with it. So we're trying to prove to investors that it is a place you can invest and get exit with an investment. Um, so we've basically been engaging with impact investors. We have EEP, AECF, and we have a partnership with Toyota Mobility Foundation. And now we're focused also on looking at local financing, especially working with agribusiness. So we've signed agreements with the Dairy Association, 5,000 dairy, small-scale dairy farmers, and the private sector. The dairy board will de-risk the farmers to collect milk. So we're looking at public-private partnerships and a blended financing model. And essentially, we're looking at the moment to raise equity. We would prefer equity than debt, just because it's CapEx heavy. So this year we'd like to raise $3 million, and we are in negotiations now for an initial investment. We believe of 1.5 million, which would help us to show that Zimbabwe is a country to come and invest. But we have ambitious plans, especially in Zambia and Malawi, once we get things moving in Zim.
And on the $3 million that you're looking for, what percentage of your company are you?
So essentially, that's at the moment we're still looking at valuation with the current investment, but essentially most probably 40 to 50%. We're valued at $3 million at the moment, which is basically a conservative valuation based on both the grant funding we've raised, the small investments we've raised from seed funders, and sweat equity.
Thank you so much, Shanta. If you, Shanta, can visit her brother, you'll be able to understand more of what.
Yeah, sorry, my audio is not great.
So, Shanta.
Yeah, I'm happy to further any investors interested, please get in touch. We're happy to share more information.
Okay, thank you so much, Shanta. Please be in touch with Shanta. Drop me an email and I'll be able to link you up and possibly set a meeting. So thank you, Shanta, for the great presentation. Hope to see you at Sankal. So our next presenter is Francine. Francine is from Rwanda, doing some very amazing work with green energy, and she's doing the what not many would assume that female entrepreneur is doing. So Francine, if you could just join in.
Yes, good evening, everyone. As you mentioned, my name is Francine. I'm the CEO and the founder of Munyaxeco, a company working in solar energy. And how did I came to this business? In fact, when I grew up, I was living in Rwanda and Congo, And we were refugee, and we had some challenges in accessing electricity, and we didn't have electricity, no lights, no possibility to cook really, no entertainment, not even a radio, no fridge. And it was very challenging for us. And also when I grew up later, I worked with the International Committee of the Red Cross, and I saw the same challenge. And that's how I decided to come back to Rwanda. I was working in different places. And
Sorry.
so I was saying that what was the solution I found when I came back to Rwanda? In fact, I started to create my company and provide clean energy products, solar water heaters, solar PV, solar cold chain, and different PV system. And what we have, in fact, in Rwanda, it's a supermarket, or even if it is small. It's why I say that it's super, is because we have the government who is really promoting business, private business, who wants really to also promote access to electricity in rural areas. They give incentives to companies for solar system, and also they give grants, fiscal incentive for companies, and grants for end user customers. And we have an ambitious target in Rwanda to electrify the country by 2024. So that was a good thing for us. Our business model is in two ways. We give the possibility to pay cash and to pay by installments. The thing is also that we are really competitive. We have a good credit record, good experience. We give quality to our customers. We give after-sales service, which is very good. And thanks to that, we managed really to be recognized by international organizations, to have awards, and also to create a partnership network locally, internationally, with funders, and also some advisors like Get Invest, and local partners like the National Electricity Company, and also local authorities, to be able really to tackle the development of the country. So when we do our business, our target market, it's B2B, it's B2C, it's in rural areas. It can be health centers, it can be institutions, NGOs. It's really very various. Our target market it's really very various. And also our proposition, since we are proposing payment by installments, our proposition is interesting for our customers, and they are ready to work with us, and they are ready, they can be diversified. You can have very small, when I say low income people, and you can have also high income people, depending of the product we are proposing. We have a management team also, which is constituted of 60% of ladies, including me, and 50 years of experience, good knowledge of the country in Rwanda, good knowledge also of neighboring country, because our target also is to expand in neighboring country, DRC and Burundi. And our traction, what we have been doing, it's that we have reached like more than 10,000 customers, beneficiaries in Rwanda, a little bit in DRC, and also a little bit in Burundi. We have managed to distribute a solar system to solar water heaters, more than 1,000 people. And our growth these last 3 years, except 2021, we have increased by 10%. And in 2021, we even double our income. Our annual sales were double in 2021. In fact, we took the opportunity of the COVID crisis, we took it as an opportunity to really review our strategy when we were in lockdown. We had 4 months of lockdown, not at the same time, at different time. And we really take this opportunity to review our strategy and to see how we can really go further, quicker, better, and a more efficient way. And thanks to that, we double in 2021, we double our sales, we double our revenue. And thanks to that also, we need more fundings. The market is big, the market is important, the needs are important. So we are looking for funding, like 1.6 million of funding. When we say 1.6 million, it's partly equity, loan, and partly grant also. And the idea, it's really for grant, is really to have a gender sensitive training. We are very sensitive to gender in our company, and knowing that I'm also the founder as a woman, so we are very sensitive to that. The challenge that we are facing when we are talking about risk is the fact that we don't have the ownership of the technology. So what we try to do to compensate is really to be the first mover, to really try to be the first in solar water heaters, in also solar cold chain, also to be the first, to be able to really to make an advantage on the market. We also are highly dependent on loan. As we are highly dependent on loan, we try really to on finance, external financing, let's say like this. So we really try to have a concessional interest rate, or again, also to have grant to tackle the issue of capacity building. Also, as we do a system of payment, sorry? Just rapidly.
Your time is almost up.
Yes, almost up, but I lost because you interrupted me. So if you allow me just to finish, the impact that we have impact on gender. Half of our employees are ladies in a world where the energy world is male dominated. We have an impact in carbon reduction, income generative project, and also giving access to affordable and clean energy. So thank you very much. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation. Once again, if you received my email earlier today, you'll be able to access a folder where you can access Francine pitch deck and teaser, and it contains much of the information that she has been talking about. So I'd welcome questions from the present investors. If you have a question, you could raise your hand, and I'll be able to allow her to answer the questions. But for now, I'll just want to know, how much have you raised, Francine, so far? And what type of funding have you raised to get you where you are?
Yeah, up to now, we have raised around, we have our own equity, of course. As a founder, I put my own savings in the company. I even sold my house to be able to do that. And also we have raised up to now around $500,000 to $600,000, and most of it are a part of it is a grant which will be delivered very soon. We haven't got it yet. It's $300,000 from We for Food. So we need really to develop our activities and having some loan and equity to develop this cold chain, solar cold chain, which is really important. And we really look for equity and mainly for equity, because we really need to have to sustain our growth and to be able to leverage more loan when we have equity.
And what percentage of your company are you willing to give, and at what amount?
Yes, in fact, we are still discussing about the percentage. It's around 20% that we are ready to give as equity. Yeah, we are also finalizing also the evaluation of the company. The company would be evaluated, but still to be confirmed between $3 to $4 million. Yeah, but still to be confirmed.
Okay, so thank you. I think we lost you there for a minute, but thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Kelly.
Is there anyone with a question to Francine? If I could, so I just wanted to understand where do you see your company within the next 2 to 5 years? Like, are you expanding on markets? What exactly, where do you see, what's the vision of the company?
Yeah, the vision of the company is really to expand not only in Rwanda, but in neighboring countries. The vision also is, when we review our strategy, it was really to increase our activities, the needs are to diversify our offer in solar equipment, and also something very important, besides the gender sensitive training that I mentioned and the fact that we really want to promote gender, it's really the fact of capacity building. In Rwanda, we don't have so much experience in solar energy, in the solar sector, and really it's really important. We have been doing that since we started to give possibility of internship, apprenticeship, and even the people that we are hiring, we train them. So it's very important that we can train more and more people, to have more and more people, ladies, including ladies, to be able really to tackle this market and to be competitive with national people who really understand very well the market and who can really do the difference to make change makers in our countries and also in neighboring countries, because we mentioned DRC, which is a huge market. We mentioned Burundi, and also later in another stage, other countries. We don't hear you, Kelly.
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation. I would really appreciate, and I would have wanted to ask many questions, especially in regards to your competition, but I guess you'll have to update your teaser, answer those questions there. If you want to reach out to Francine, please go to Brella. You'll be able to see her there. Reach out to me. I will share all the documents that you need and the information that you need. And if you need to, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And do have yourself a great evening. So our next presenter is Mr. Mevji Vesani. Mr. Mevji Vesani works transform trash. You can, Mr. Vesani transformed trash to value. He is one of the biggest plastic recycling company. So Mavji, if you could turn on your camera, share your pitch deck, I will be happy to hear from you.
Yeah, my name is Mauji Varsani. I'm the CEO and founder for Wins Plastic Limited, a company which was established 12 years ago. We have been in operation. Our primary business is plastic recovery. We try to follow circular economy and recover much as possible from the waste. Our target is the landfills, where we collect the raw materials from, and it's processed into pellets, and then finally to convertible goods which can be sold in the market. We do a lot of R&D. We are working on the digital platforms. Our bigger agenda is affordable housing made from plastic waste. The other product is fertilizer made from the waste of the waste. We sell our products to neighboring countries. We are expanding the horizon. What our aim is to give the plastic another life. The market is big. What we have done, Kenya produces about 1.3 million tons of waste annually. In the whole recycling sector, about 30,000 tons was recycled, out of which Wins Plastic did about 6,000 tons, 5,000 tons. With the increased regulations coming in globally and increased cost in the logistics, this puts recycling in a better space. And also cleans the environment and leave it better for the future. Also reduces the landfills. The opportunity is quite big. There's an increasing demand of plastic raw materials as it's a finite source. So there will always be a need for recycled pellets to come into the market. And this is also going to reduce production of new plastic, so it will save the environment and the fossil reserves. Plastic also is not a biodegradable. Hence, it has to be reused, recycled, and repurposed. So that's what also we work on to see how we can give the best solutions out of it on different types of plastics. Some are easier to recycle, some are very hard to recycle. Some don't have solutions, but what we have done is we have come with creative solutions. So we can be able to now mix all the different types of plastic into a more homogeneous product, and then which can be converted into a composite and used as raw material to make construction material. We have been primarily working on 4 major types of plastic. Now we want to try and do all the 7 types of plastic. The competition is a very big market which is growing in. And the agenda to recycle is a very big one. So I would always say it's not a competitive market, but we all need to work on a collaborative way, which will be able to give us all the players enough room and to grow together. Our operations are, we follow the strict SDG goals, ethical rules, equality, and our process documentation is well drafted, recorded, so that we can be able to give accountability and traceability of all the operations. We operate in Nairobi, Nakuru, and Mombasa.
So, hello?
Yeah.
So I just wanted us to have a conversation about, for example, your market size. Which countries are you currently? Where are you operating, and what's the market size that you are addressing?
We are in Nairobi, Kenya, mainly established in Kenya, but we have now moved to counties where now we have 3 counties we are operating in. We are looking at opening up in Kisumu. We are in talks with Kisii. We are also talking to parts of Nanyuki. We are trying to establish ourselves in Uganda, Kampala. So we are growing with the concept, but I would say fully established in Kenya, mainly in Nairobi, where we have the full operation of circularity and zero waste solution. So we are trying to expand in all these regions.
Basically, I understand that you collect plastic from these waste plastic and then transform them into useful plastic. If you could just explain to us the process, the collection process. How do you get these plastics, and what's the process from the landfills to the factory, to the end product?
So we work with the informal markets who help us through the landfills. We have vehicles which collect from this. We work with about 2,000 plus people in the landfills. We work with about 170 collection centers who operate in these parts, whom we normally buy it from. About 170 in Kenya overall, based from Nakuru, Mombasa, and everywhere in Nairobi. When it comes with our lorries, it comes to a factory where it's separated and segregated by color, type. From there, it goes to the process of shredding and then conversion, washing, conversion. We do both hot and cold wash. So we give it a better life. And then we convert it to pellets through a pelletization process. From the pelletization now, depending on which type of pellet it is, we can convert it into blow injection or extrusion components, which we have been successfully doing. So we from the 4 primary recoverable polymers, we have been doing it for the past 12 years. Now we are trying to move into the PET, PVC, and the others. So we should have a full spectrum.
Thank you for that. And what volumes are you moving?
We are moving about 20 to 25 tons a day in full conversion. we are doing 20 to 25 tons a day, a full conversion.
And considering that you're looking for investment, what's your projected tonnage, for example, of moving and its value in US dollars?
We are planning to move it to about 60 to 70 tons a day, where we'll have multiple lines, where we are going to do about, I would say, 75% of primary high value plastic and 25%, which is a low value plastic, which comes out of as an offshoot of the recovery process, where we are going to be making the components like the affordable housing and fertilizer. So that's where target is about 60 to 70 tons once we're able to scale it up.
Thank you so much for that. So I'll just go to the financials. I want you to explain the financials, what you're, the history, what you're looking, and where you see what the vision is for this ask.
Yeah, so we are looking at about from the financials. Yes, we had a bit of a dip. That was because we expanded from half an acre zone to about 3 acre zone. And a lot of improvements were done because moving of facilities, there's quite capital intensive. So our energies and the time was more spent in the build up of the asset. So that's why we had a bit of a dip, and so we could not have a good EBITDA on those years. But we expect this to turn around as we have now fully completed our expansions. Now it's just fine tuning of these elements to be able to get more efficiencies. So we are asking for about $4.75 where we will be looking at increasing the capacity to buy, because there is a big cost and the time lag is about 2 months by the time you do a full conversion to the products. A part of it will be used to purchase new machineries to improve the capacities. We need to add more fleet so we can be able to have more collections available, and also distribution of our products. We also going on a sustainable model, so we are also investing in solar, and part of it is to be able to make it a more viable business. So we need to be able to reduce the debt structure, expensive loan debt structure. So that is for fleet.
Thank you. So if you could just explain to us who are your team members, maybe.
We have initially the 4 team members are myself, Dinesh, Vanita, and Aruna. We also have an external team of expertise who work with us in our future programs and current programs on affordable housing, food security, circularity, and also on finance. So we have a team of about total core team of about 10 members, but we have about 30 seasoned staff who have been working with us for long, and overall we have about 170 staff, and indirectly we do employ about 2,000 people in the landfills.
Thank you for that, Mevji. So I'd welcome questions from Mevji. If you have any question, you can raise or post on chat, and he'll be able to answer.
Our main customers are a lot of recycling companies who buy these products to convert them into industrial products. Basically in Nairobi, Kenya, where we sell about 50%. 50% is what we've been selling to our neighboring countries, big manufacturers in Uganda, Malawi, Tanzania, Ethiopia. And also now we have started penetrating into Asian market in India, where we sell our recycled pellets.
And thank you for that, Melji. So since I'm not seeing anyone raising their hands, you can always go to Brella. You'll see Melji's profile. Set up a meeting, and if you want to set up an in-person meeting even after Sankal, please reach out to us and we'll be able to assist. So Melji, thank you so much for the presentation, and apologies for not being able to share your screen. We look forward to seeing you at Sankalpon.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you at Sankalp, and do have yourself a great evening.
You too. Thanks.
That was Mr. Vasani of Vince Plastic. It's a processing company that takes waste plastics and converts them into pallets, which are sold to. Our next presenter is Mr. Tigabu. He's from Ethiopia. He's actually one of the finalists of the GIIF challenge by the International Finance Corporation. And what they're doing is they are helping smallholder farmers access financial services. So basically, they are in line with de-risking and making it possible for smallholder farmers in Ethiopia access financial services. And
okay, thank you for this chance. I'm the Gab Abraham and the CEO and co-founder of this Studio Agritech. Here, knowing the status of the soil, that means what amount do the vital soil nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium exist in the soil? What is the pH level of the soil? Whether it's normal or not, is there adequate moisture level in the soil that support the crop growth? Do the agroecology of that farmland is compatible with the crop is very essential things to be considered before sowing a certain crop. But blind sowing without having such information may lead to excessive application of synthetic fertilizers. So, as we all know, the content of synthetic fertilizer is by far nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. This in turn become poisonous and kill the seed, may lead to burning of crop by either to acidic or to alkaline soil, may lead to seeing nothing grow up from the soil after putting our seed there due to inconvenience of environment. Farmers don't having soil status and compatibility information lose those crops. Here, as you see, lack of having an appropriate marketplace to sell their product also become the major problem for small scale farmers. And here, current maximum cereal crop productivity index here and East Africa is below regional average, which is 40 quintal per hectare. But if those all things have to be managed, or if some farmer know his soil status before sowing or before planting any tree, the level of those all contents is possible to have minimum of 90 quintal per hectare up to 49 quintal per hectare. So for that problem, what we came up with a solution, which is called an Agritech device and mobile application. So this an Agritech device, as you see here, it is our first prototype. This device measures an appropriate parameters that tells about the soil health status. For instance, if you take the soil sample and put it inside this device before sowing or before putting anything on that soil, it can measure the soil pH level, soil NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and the potassium level of that soil, which means we can get those all elements from organic matters. So this measures NPK level, measure agroecology, whether that agroecology is very suitable for that soil or not. It also check the compatibility of soil type, as well as we have also developed this Android application, as well as it can also work on iOS. This application takes the measures from this device and then analyze, because it is artificial intelligence powered application. It can analyze all those measures or those all parameters from the device and suggest which crop best suit for this farmland, best productive for a certain farming site. Here in Africa, we have 4.3 million total addressable market in East Africa, especially. which means by addressing 500 million African smallholder farmers. From those, we have plan of addressing 4.3 million farmers. As operating for market, we have target of having 600K farmers on our plan, considering Ethiopia and the Kenyan smallholder farmers. Here in Ethiopia, 85% of the population livelihood is based on farming, which means there are 110 million people here in Ethiopia. From those 85%, if we take as householding, we will have minimum 50 million farmers, small scale farmers, because here no more state farm is present. The product what we came up with is that it can measure NPK level, nitrogen, phosphorus, and the potassium level, because not having those levels and applying synthetic fertilizer leads to burning of the crop or loss of the crop. So it can measure before sowing or before planting any tree and any plants. It can measure NPK level and suggest what level of fertilizer is to apply. Measure soil pH, because having an appropriate pH of the given soil, and if we crop a certain plant or a certain crop on that incompatible soil, we can lose the whole soil, the whole crop. So this device measures soil pH level, soil moisture, humidity, temperature, and additional agroecologies. After measuring those all things, it can send the measures or the parameters, the data, to the mobile application, because farmers have no knowledge of interpreting the information which is read by the device. Therefore, without any human contact, automatically after measuring those things, it can send to mobile application, and the mobile application can interpret by their own means, and then display the last thing, which is called your crop land or your farm land is very suitable for this crop, and adjust your NPK or your farm site fertilizer level by this. Now, so it can reduce blind application of fertilizer. This mobile application, as you see, it identifies soil type, measure and analyze the things which is coming from the device, recommend adjustable parameters, how by what amount due nitrogen content is adjusted, as well as potassium and other things, soil moisture, as well as other things to be adjusted. It can support 5 international and 5 international, 5 languages. From those 3 are international language and the 2 are local language. So this means that it very suited for the farmers. We are still working on language support and voice assistance. This year we have adding 5 another language, including Ethiopian, most popular language, is not official, and as well as by including Arabic language. So we have planned in this year to have 10 language to assist, and to include voice assistant, meaning that without having any written thing, farmer can communicate with the device and the application through voice only. Our business model is that this application work on subscription, and the device is work on direct sell. We can sell the device directly by $250. It's very affordable thing. We have come up with this amount of price due by having cost-driven pricing model, because we have calculated all things, all the costs of small things what we want to develop the device, and then we come up with this affordable amount of selling price. And for subscription, meaning that at the time of buying the device, an application is given to farmer without having any additional cost, but it can suggest only 4 times, meaning that for 4 farmland, for 4 farm sites, it can suggest very productive as well as very compatible crop type, as well as how to adjust his farming site. But having more than 4 recommendation needs subscription. As I said to you, the device measure NPK level of the soil. So after measuring NPK level, the farmer is getting only the blanket one, 50% of nitrogen, 50% of potassium, 50% of phosphorus fertilizer from the government. But it's better to have precision agriculture to give the farmer side in the amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium which is required by the soil. This highly increase crop productivity, because we are maintaining soil health. Having excess amount of one of those 3 vital elements may burn the crop. We are also providing homage to market, meaning that we are providing marketing linkage for small scale farmers. For instance, if our device or our system suggests you to plant it, to crop a teff. Teff is very popular crop in Ethiopia, but you may not know about teff. If our device says this farm site is very suitable for teff, if you grow teff on that farm site, you may be forced to have lack of market linkage. But to reduce that, we came up with another system. We have integrated market linkage on our application, and this application directly link the farmers or the grower to the market where their product or their crop is sold. Our competitors are National Soil Testing Center. They can test nutrient amount of the soil, but is static when as Ethiopia is 5 in CTC centers are there, but the farmer have to go to their center by having soil sample of his farmland. It also require more than 3 or 4 weeks in order to get the result, and it's too costly. And sometimes they cannot open their door to have such investigation because they are more put their effort on policy making of the government. But Homage to Joy come up with portable device that tests nutrient amount of the soil, mobile application that is supported by their own local language, crop recommendation, which crop best suit for your farm side, market linkage application, market linkage platform, which means if a certain farmer crop an unknown crop on his locality, he can post using our system. Affordability is very affordable, it's $250 per device, and mobility of the device is very essential part of our system. Our financial, we have started our journey on to 2019, and we have got 100 initial customers from them. We get total revenue of 25,000 USD dollar, and we have total expense of, as you see. And but our revenue is increasing from year to year because, as I told you, there is fertilizer mixing service what we are providing. For instance, a certain farmer come up with his soil and his soil, if a certain farmer investigate his soil status using our device and they come up with the suggestion he needs 25% nitrogen, 25% potassium, and 35% of nitrogen, we can mix those all nutrients and give to him. That is precise application of fertilizer may be gained. So this fertilizer mixing service is very affordable for farmers, as well as is less costly for us to maintain and to install the machineries. In 2020, we have got 200 customers, very interesting customers, including government partners. In 2021, last year, we have got 350 customers, but still we are operating on one country in Ethiopia. But in 2022, this ongoing year, we have planned to open our branch on Kenya and Sudan. So we have planned to have 650 customers. And in 2023, we have plan of having 5 customers. As you see, the number of customers are increasing. Here in Ethiopia, we have increased the number of branches. That's why the number of customers are increasing. As well as if you see, if today margin is increasing rapidly, which meaning that our fertilizer mixing service is less costly for us to install the machineries, less costly for us to operate the machineries, but it gives us a best revenue. We need 270K USD dollar in equity for technology upgrading, for buying additional machines, because we have planned to open additional branches. For those branches, we have to buy additional machines. We have planned to advertise and promote our product beyond this, and we want to hire additional expertise. Those all things are calculated by our economic class, our economics department, and we have get total funds to be required as from 250 up to $300,000. We have taken the average, and we need 270K. We believe that very creative and a strong as well as passionate team is very essential for any startup or for any organization. As you see here, the Gabo Abraham, me, CEO and co-founder, have 4+ experience on artificial intelligence. Here, there are also doctors who are our advisor, and we have amazingly, we have 50 plus one female co-founders. We are 10 co-founders. From them, 6 are female co-founders, and they are very experienced on their own field. For instance, Sawa Desta she is our co-founder, and she has more than 4-year agricultural consultants knowledge experience. Her base is in horticulture, but she is right now our customer gravity head. This is very essential, very different and essential department which exists in our company, customer gravity head, meaning that as the name indicates, she works on how to attract customers and how to give correct response as well as very fast feedback for customers' requests. We have also here, we have great partners, universities as well as engineering companies, including Artificial Intelligence Center of Ethiopia, as well as Malcolm Technology, very popular company here in Ethiopia. Our impact, we have introduced ginger and dwarf apple and tree in Ethiopia for new agroecology, and become very productive, and the farmers get very good revenue by producing surplus product of these 2 products. We have created job opportunity for 100 plus employee unemployed users, as well as we have comprised 50 plus 1 female co-founders, as well as from the member of us, there are also 50 plus 1 female teammates are here in our company. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tigabu, for the great presentation. So if you could briefly go through your financial, how much have you managed to raise so far? And how much are you looking to raise? And what type of financial instrument are you looking for?
Okay, we are now requiring $270,000 USD in equity. We have infused $50,000 into our company, which is gotten for 25,000 USD from Jimma University as grant award, and 25,000 from the co-founders, from the co-founder security. And we are now looking for 270K USD.
And what in terms you're saying that you need 270K in equity, like what percentage of your company are you like, what's the valuation, what percentage of the company are you willing to give for the 270K?
Yeah, we are willing to give 10% of our company shareholding in equity for 270K USD. I think it's a great number, because we have made this in order to accompany international collaborators and to have more branches. That's why we have given this amount of this amount of person for 270K.
Thank you. If I could just move to your technology, at what level would you say that your technology is? Would you say that you are mature in that you don't really need investment to go into the technology, or is it early stage, you are still perfecting the technology? Or at what level would you place yourself?
Yeah, we have experienced it in technology, especially on artificial intelligence, digital device production, as well as mobile computing. As you see here, our team is composed of artificial intelligence experts. For instance, I have more than 4-year experience in artificial intelligence programming. And here, Dr. Kinde is very renewed person here. He has more than 7-year artificial intelligence experience. He's a researcher, and he has got his PhD in computer engineering from German. And the team composition show you how much we are experienced on technology. And this is the sample of our team. This is not the whole team. As I say to you, we have 10 co-founders. From them, 5 of them are technology persons with deep experience on that.
Yes, maybe thank you for answering that. And if you need to reach out to the team, you can find their profile on Umbrella. You can also reach out to us. We will share their decks, and we can always set meetings if you need one, even after Sankalp. So thank you so much, Tigabu and the Omishtu Agritech Joy. We wish you all the best as you compete for the cash prize of the GIIF. And if you could share your screen
Okay.
as we will. Yeah, I would now welcome Ted Ulton.
So my name is Ted Alton. I'm the CFO of Crop Nuts, and I'll be presenting on our climate smart agtech for smallholder farmers. So if you look at African soils, there's a yield gap of up to 80%. So whilst this sounds negative, it also presents a massive opportunities to improve soil health, which can lead to higher crop yields, improving farmer livelihoods. It boosts their climate resilience because healthier soils are more resilient to climate. It improves food security, and it drives inclusive growth. And this matters because there's around 50 million smallholder farms in Africa, contributing 70% of the food supply, over 20% of GDP, and 40% of employment. So this is an area where we can make a tremendous difference on the continent. Now, farmers need soil information to improve their soil health and boost yields. Otherwise, it's kind of like driving a car blindfolded. You just can't see where you're going with your farms. So we developed something called Agvisor, which is an artificial intelligence-driven soil testing and advisory service designed for smallholder farmers. It's affordable, retailing from anywhere between nothing and $12 US, depending on the business model. It gives recommendations specific to the farmer's field. It generates climate smart results that are delivered digitally and through SMSs, and is backed up by field agent support so the farmers take the right actions with the advice we're giving them. This is how it works. Farmer will request the soil testing using the app or via SMS, and will be matched to a local field agent. The field agent will collect the soil sample and log the details in our Lab Pro app, and we'll have the soil delivered to our lab or one of our mobile labs, which you can see in the picture there. There we do what's called a spectral analysis of the soil, and the digital output is transmitted to our AI platform in the cloud that will produce the results and the best recommendations for the farmer, which are then delivered to both the farmer and the agent, so they can implement those results. And then we provide ongoing SMS advice and reminders around planting times and input application. The result is climate smart impact. So this knowledge empowers farmers because they know what they need to do to improve their soil health and which inputs to apply. It increases farmer adoption of climate smart farming practices, leading to higher crop yields and higher income. It also helps reduce atmospheric carbon because as we increase the carbon level in the soil, it takes it out of the atmosphere. So there are broader environmental benefits. Just as an example, here's Patrick. He's a potato farmer. He started growing potatoes in 2016 and saw his yield decline from 9 tons down to 2.6 tons for his 1 acre plot. So we came in, we did the soil test and gave him the recommendations, which he implemented, and the yield jumped from 2.6 tons up to 12 tons. Now his soil was particularly depleted, but it gives you an idea of the impact we can have. And as Patrick says, knowing your soil is the foundation of farming. We work on a business-to-business model, so we don't have the scale or reach to get to all the smallholder farmers we want to, which is over 2 million per year by 2026. So instead, we deliver our technology and service through B2B partners, fertilizer companies such as OCP and Farmers World, banks, digital platforms like DigiFarm. So effectively, our service works as a cost-efficient software as a service structure with massive scalability. Our service complements the partners we deal with. So for example, fertilizer companies will then be able to sell fertilizers on the back of our recommendations. We've already scaled significantly. So we've served over 150,000 smallholder farmers so far, and we aim to hit 2 million, as I just mentioned. We have the system calibrated and operational for 12 countries in Africa, as shown on this map. Competition. So our competition really comes from traditional wet chemistry labs, but they're far more expensive than the service we have. There are other spectral testing providers like AgroCares, but we use a different technology from them and different hardware, which we believe is more durable and more accurate. And you also have generic soil maps, but the information they give isn't specific to the farmer. It can be very generic and old. I think one of our key differentiators, though, is that our business is backed up by 20 years of African agronomic experience. So whilst this technology is relatively new, we've been serving farmers in Africa for 20 years, we understand the soils, and we understand what they need. A quick look at our social and environmental impact. We hit 9 of the UN SDGs, as you can see here, particularly strong around improving climate resilience, reducing farmer poverty and inequality, and improving food security. On the financial side, so this is our financials. Whilst this part of our business is relatively new, we have an established commercial farming business, which is where the majority of our revenues currently come from, as you'll see for the year ending in March 2021 and the year shortly to end. The growth you see here, though, in the blue revenue line is being driven by this new business, our advisor service. And by 2025-26, we expect to reach around $20 million in revenue with an EBITDA margin of over 50%. What are we asking for, and what are we going to use those funds for? So we're looking for equity funding of up to $1 million US. The key areas we want to use this money, firstly, is around expanding our sales and marketing. We have the technology, we know it works, we're using it with clients. Now it's really about how we scale that up, which requires a larger sales effort and a larger marketing effort, both to our B2B partners, but also to raise soil health awareness more broadly. We want to develop a franchise model to accelerate our international expansion. So whilst we're already operating in several countries, we want to make it easier for partners in those countries to use this technology and deliver it to farmers around Africa. We want to expand our cloud-based soil intelligence platform. So most of our tech is on the cloud at the moment. The next step is to really scale it up so we can go from a couple of 100,000 farmers up to 2 million farmers per year, which will require some dev work. And then also we want to start expanding our services to develop a soil risk index for use by financial institutions that will help embed soil health into lending decisions, because we see soil as a farmer's greatest asset. We don't believe banks currently reflect that properly. And we're also rolling out services around carbon credit programs because our technology measures carbon, addressing one of the key issues with carbon programs for smallholder farmers, which is measuring across tens or even hundreds of thousands of farmers. So there you have it. I'm at my 7 minutes, so I'm going to finish off there with one last slide, which is a picture of all the wonderful, beautiful people, well, not all, 4 of the wonderful, beautiful people at CropNuts. Here's the team. I'll pause here for questions and you can read up on us, but you'll see that we've got several decades of agronomic experience, operations experience, and financial experience between us. Thank you very much for listening, and I welcome all your questions, please.
Thank you so much, Ted. Karen, you have a question. If you could just unmute yourself, and Ted will be ready to answer the question. Karen on chat is asking, thanks Ted for the question. So 2 questions. What is the profile of the farmers you have supported, and what has the outcomes been? How do you ensure recurring revenues?
Yeah, okay.
So you could answer the first one, what?
Yeah, so it cut up a bit, but I think I got the question in terms of what kind of farmers we serve. So this technology is particularly aimed at smallholder farmers, by which I mean anything from, it can be below half an acre up to 3 to 4 acres. Technically, it can be used for larger plots, but it's really aimed at these kind of smallholder farmers. We work across many different crop types. I think if you looked at our geographic coverage, let me just quickly find it, you'll see several countries. So we have to adjust to what are the staple crops in those countries. Our business also serves medium-sized and large commercial farms, research organizations, and anyone else who needs soil testing. That's our traditional wet chemistry business, which has been going for a longer period of time. So we actually cover all types of farmers in Africa. In terms of recurrent revenues, the technology and the business we've rolled out is still relatively new. Farmers don't need to test their soils every year. We recommend that it's done every 2 to 3 years. So it's still too early to have proof of concept around recurrent revenues. But as you would have seen in the case of Patrick here, he saw a massive increase in his yield. So our belief is once farmers have tried this and they've seen the benefits in terms of higher yield, leading to higher income, they will be incentivized to continue using this service every couple or every 2 to 3 years. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
My pleasure.
If you could just briefly go back to the revenues, we want to understand the amount of money you've raised so far versus the revenue that you've been getting, and what you're looking for, and basically where these funds will be channeled.
Yeah. So we've done a small equity raise previously of $1.2 million from two impact investors. And that's been used to develop our tech. The money we're now bringing in, which we're aiming to bring in another $1 million, is, as I mentioned, to boost our sales and marketing side. So we've now got a tested service, which we know works. So we now need to get that out to as many people as we can. So we need to significantly increase our sales team and also our marketing effort. One of the challenges around soil health is that there is still limited awareness amongst farmers around the benefits of soil health. So we estimate that less than 0.5% of farmers, smallholder farmers in Africa have used soil testing in some form or other in the past. So we need the marketing budget to help raise that awareness. We're also working with a number of development organizations around how we raise awareness of the benefits of soil health. We run demo plots and that kind of thing. So money will go into that. On the tech side, as I mentioned, our service is in the cloud and it's working fine at these volumes. But given the massive volumes that we intend to go to, which is over 2 million samples a year, we need to expand our capacity there. So we have to invest in expanding the capacity of our tech platform. So I think those are the two key areas. The franchise model and this other thing I was mentioning about soil risk index and carbon, we will put some money into those, but that will be a smaller amount of it. The franchise model is, at the moment, when we look for business to business partners, they tend to be larger corporates. We believe there are, established entrepreneurs in various countries of Africa who, when we present this opportunity, will want to deliver it to into smallholder farmer networks that they're connected to. So we're looking to create a franchise model that works with them. The current model we have with these business to business partners works on a white label basis, hence why I'm mentioning franchise model. And then the last two is just around developing new angles for the use of our technology, particularly around carbon. So after COP26, we believe, or we know, there's going to be a much bigger focus on both measuring carbon and ways of reducing carbon. So our technology measures carbon, so it can be used to set a baseline and track interventions to address climate change. And improving soil health helps fight climate change because it takes carbon dioxide out of the air and puts it into the soil. In fact, it's one of the biggest potential sinks of carbon in the world that is not being tapped properly at the moment. So we're looking to align our technology and our business to that major theme and trend. Were you asking why aren't we going for more, or?
Yeah, why are you not going for a larger ticket? Why are you not looking for more money
So I think it depends on the investor and who's out there. So, if someone wants to invest more and it's at a valuation that we think makes sense, we're definitely going to consider that. But at the moment, we've sized our equity funding to what we feel is needed to get us to the next level. I think one of the challenges when you're a small company raising equity funding is, if you're not careful, you can see the ownership diluted quite quickly. So it's really a function of where we think the valuation is and what we need to do. If Moses, if you in particular, or anyone else is particularly keen, we will look at larger ticket sizes based on the valuation metrics. And we would look at seeing how that can accelerate our expansion. One thing I would say, though, is we're not going to take on too much money if we don't believe we can use it effectively and quickly to expand.
Thank you for that. If you could just go back to your ask, the amount of funding that you are looking for.
1 million.
I just wanted it to be 1 million. I just wanted to understand if it's equity, what percentage are you looking to give?
6%.
6%. Have you done this valuation? Is this valuation something that has been done by financials? Is it something that you have worked on solidly? Is it a final offer, or it's open to review?
So, yeah, I think one of the things around investment here is we're not just looking for equity. I didn't touch on it, but if you look in the what's called the commercialization column here, we've got things like assist with international expansion, connect with complementary companies, and assist with business to business partnership expansion. So we're not just looking for money, and I should have actually explained this when I went through the use of funds. We're looking for a partner here. So is the 6% based on our valuations? Yes. It's not done by an independent accountant. So there's always going to be a negotiation around things. I think what's critical to us, though, is what other things the investor brings in terms of connectivity that can help support our growth, and experience and insight that can also help us. One of the things about a company that's expanding internationally, and as you'll see, we now have offices in multiple countries, is that the degree of complexity increases. So investors who can come along and sort of help us with that will be more keen to take them on board. And so in those cases, we'd be more flexible around the valuation. So it's not fixed in stone, but there needs to be a discussion, and there needs to be, more than just here's a check, because that's not the kind of relationship we want.
Shalin Kikunze is asking, how many field agents have you worked with? What's the profile of these agents, and how do you recruit them?
Yeah, good question. So this comes back to the business to business model that we focus on. So trying to recreate agent networks is expensive and time consuming. And given the vision we have of how we want to expand, we just can't do it. We're too small. So we look for partners, B2B partners, who have established networks that will also have agents. So for example, when we work with a fertilizer company, they normally have agents that help distribute their fertilizers, and we would work through those agents. In the case of DigiFarm, we work through DigiFarm's agents. So that's a key part of our business model. One thing we found is that not all our partners have agents or want their agents to be involved. So we're also exploring working with other partners who have extensive field agents, and providing this as an additional service. Will pay a good commission, so the agent is incentivized, and it makes the most of existing agent networks. I see these networks as a utility, and you don't want to create lots of different networks delivering goods to the same farmer. You want to put as many goods as you can through the same network to increase the income opportunities of these agents. It's a great opportunity for young people to find jobs, and the more their different services that they can deliver, the better for them, and the better for the coordinating companies that take care of them. What I would say is that we do have a small team of our own agents that focus on our wet chemistry business that we do testings with, just to make sure that things work and to sort of learn best practice.
Thank you so much, Ted. Again, you can visit his virtual booth. It's on Umbrella. You can set up meetings with him. You can always reach out to us during and after Sankalp. And I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you on Friday.
Yes, one last thing before I go. Whatever you think of crop nuts, soil health is incredibly important, and it's going to make a tremendous difference to the environment and to farmers and the people of Africa. So whether you love crop nuts or not, and I hope you do, please do all you can to raise the profile of the importance of soil health, both in your personal capacity and business people, because strong agriculture is the foundation of strong economies. That's my little social blurb. I'll finish there. Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Ted. That was a great presentation and discussion. So our next presenter is Lillian. Lillian is from Emata. She's also one of the GIIF finalists. She's competing for a cash prize tomorrow, and we hope that we'll be able to announce that by end of day tomorrow. So Lillian, if you could start presenting, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kelly. I hope you can hear me well. Good evening, everyone. I am Lillian, and this is Nalongo. Nalongo and I have many things in common. We are both women, we are both from Uganda, and we both own leadership positions in our companies. However, there's one glaring difference between us. If I walked into a bank in Kampala and asked for a loan, I would get it, and she won't. Why? Because Nalongo is a farmer. According to banks' traditional credit scoring processes, she has no security they can use to offer her a loan. Imata is changing this by providing affordable digital financial products to farmers across East Africa. We are disrupting agriculture financing. This is a $240 billion opportunity in Africa. Here, banks do not lend to farmers. This is because their processes are time-consuming and costly. And as a result, farmers opt to borrow money from informal money lenders who charge up to 10 to 20% interest a month. We are disrupting this by providing affordable digital loans. We do this in 3 steps. First, we collect data. We do this by digitizing our cooperatives and aggregators. Then, we use alternative credit scoring to create credit limits. These credit limits are tailored to a farmer. And finally, we provide digital loans. Today, we are working with 3,700 dairy farmers in 11 cooperatives in Uganda. We are expanding to other value chains as we speak, and just last week, we started lending to maize and oilseed farmers. Our business model is a B2B2C model, where we provide our technology to our partners to digitize their daily operations free of charge. And in return, we use their data to provide digital loans to farmers. Unlike our agri-focused competition, we leverage our partnerships to accelerate our growth and also use a high level of automation. Our model gives us a lock-in effect with our partners because they use our product every day. This year, we are focusing on prioritizing moving to other value chains over countries. And next year, 2023, we will be expanding to other countries in East Africa. We started our operations and got our license in 2020 and were able to start lending in February of 2021. Growth last year was slower due to COVID restrictions on movements. We will break even in 2023. We have raised 1.3 million in grant funding and are looking to raise equity and debt funding, which we will use for our continuous product development, our rollout activities, and our growing loan volumes. Imata's core team is a combination of international expertise and local knowledge. Because of this, we are positioned to build a product that is relevant for the local market while leveraging international expertise. Our team most of our founding team met while working at a Ugandan software firm, Laboremus, and combined, we have expertise and experience both in financial technology, data science, and in agricultural lending. We will succeed because of 3 reasons. First is that we're really good at what we do, and we have years of experience to back that up. Then, we also have seen that our lending models works with 95% repayments. And third, by automating all our processes, we have positioned ourselves to scale. And the partners that believe in us are a proof of this. By financing farmers, Imata will change the lives of millions of people in Africa. Farmers and leaders like Nalongo, do you want to be a part of our journey? Please reach out I will take questions now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lillian, for the presentation. I would welcome questions from the team. So, Elizabeth, if you could unmute yourself. Elizabeth is asking, hi Lillian, could you give some details on the partners that Emata collaborates with?
Yes, so on the side of partners that we work with that give us access to farmers, we work with Mezzanine for oilseeds, we work with Grain Pulse for maize, and for dairy, the setup is a little different because cooperatives in Uganda are a bit smaller than crop partners. So we partner with government bodies like DDA, that's the Dairy Development Body of Uganda, to give us access to over 400 cooperatives across the country. And in terms of building the product, we have partnered with UNCDF, FSDU, Rabobank, and recently Plug and Play and Village Camp and FAO.
Yes, can we go back to your financial? We want to understand your financial history, the amount, and the equity. I want to understand the 250K equity that you're asking for. What percentage are you willing to give?
Well, our 250K ask is in the light that we are looking for investors that are fintech focused in agriculture and also are willing to have an arrangement with us with hands-on development. So we don't have a fixed percentage of what we are offering them in terms of equity yet.
So the 250,000 is okay. So anyway, I guess we will get that by engaging the investors who are interested. And the debt, what the money that you're looking for, where exactly are you investing this money? Like 1 million, where is this money going?
The
And
1.3,
if, for example,
the
the
1.3
1.2 debt that you're looking, the 2 million debt.
or the 2 million debt. Just to
Yes.
give us some detail, so of the 2 million debt, we're actually already closing 600K in debt with the Dutch embassy already, and that means we are looking at 1.4. So of that 1.4, we are starting to look for it now because our loan volumes are growing, but we mostly need it for next year. This year, we believe that what we will close will be enough, but because of how long the process for debt, looking for debt and due diligence is, we start looking now. This 1.4 will span over time, and because of how debt works, most of the lending, the debt funding we get, its interest rate is way lower than our running interest rate. So this will help us also. It makes business sense for us to look for a bigger amount of funding now so that we can accelerate growth now rather than later.
Thank you for that. Mike Mbali is asking, do you have insurance arrangement in case of crop loss leading to default?
Part of why we joined the challenge is because this is something that we've seen during our pilots last week and during our research and design sprints last year. We realized that crop farmers have a tremendous number of challenges given climate change and other factors. And with one of our partners, Mezzanine we were able to secure insurance through them, but we want to do this now directly with insurance partners. And that's why we're here to create synergies and new partnerships with insurance parties to be able to meet that challenge as a part of our product.
Thank you so much for that. And again, if you want to set up a meeting with Lillian and team, you can always visit the umbrella. Okay, question from Lucia. So, how do you compete from Boresha Technologies? So, I don't know who Boresha is, but
Boresha. So Boresha's model, I think from what I have learned, is that it works mostly to digitize these cooperatives or aggregators. But its model implied that cooperatives pay for this software. But according to our research and market in Uganda, most of these entities are not able to pay for high-level technology. Now, as you saw our team, it's international, and that means our technology is really high tech. We can't ask small entities to pay for it. However, we wish partnerships with them to enable us to service and give products to their farmers. And in return, these entities are brought up to speed in technology. The operations are made smooth. And we also have an option where they will take 1% commission of the loan. But this option hasn't been taken by all co-ops, just actually one cooperative has opted for this, meaning they actually care more about us helping their farmers than making sales. So that's what.
thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that. I just want to ask one final question. Where do you see Emata in 5 years?
Thank you for that question. In 5 years, we see that we will have a bigger footprint in the 5 major cash crops in East Africa. We believe that because of what we are doing here in Uganda with partners, we have partners that are already set up and have a bigger base of farmers in other countries like Tanzania, Rwanda. And once we've hit those, we'll use the same model to even find partnerships in other countries. So in 5 years' time, I see Imata expanding and having rep offices and teams across the continent.
Thank you so much for the presentation. We wish you all the best, and we hope to see you at a higher level, at $1 million ask. You'll be here for a matter. So I don't know whether Anne from Swift Lab, whether you are able to join us. We're sorry that one of our presenters was supposed to join us, but due to technical challenge, they were unable. Their name is Swift Lab. They are a drone and an aeronautics company which delivers medical supplies to remote areas using unmanned aircrafts. And the most interesting thing about them is they're local, they're Kenyan. Oh, Anne, I can see you're here. Yeah, please share your screen. We'll be happy to close with you. Someone unmute Ms. Anne Derito.
Mike, could we promote her to co-host?
Yes. Working on that.
Thank you.
Great to see that she was able to join us. They're doing some very interesting work. They live manufacturing drones in Africa, which is quite unique. And if you could share your screen. There you go. You can start.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anne Deritu. I'm a co-founder and chief operations officer at SwiftLab. SwiftLab, we are designing, manufacturing, and operating drones to deliver medical supplies in remote areas. So a bit about the company. It was founded back in 2013, but due to lack of drone regulations in the country and even in most African countries, we couldn't proceed until 2020 when the drone regulations were enacted in the country, in Kenya. And our mission is to manufacture and provide affordable unmanned aerial systems for emerging economies and to provide positive impact in the society using drones. So our problem statement, or what we are trying to solve, is the poor road infrastructure in the continent due to vastness of land and also the economic capability of the African countries, and these results to denial of access to supplies to more than 300 million people in the continent. So it's a huge, there's a huge disconnect in the logistics in Africa. One of the case studies that we've done is in Turkana, which is in Kenya. So for you to get a HIV viral load testing, it takes more than 24 hours turnaround time. The samples have to be sent from a remote clinic. They may take 8 hours or more and are transported via road to the aggregation center in Lodwar town. That time may increase to maybe even 2-3 days, according to if there are rains or floodings or even insecurity on the road. Then from there, the samples are transported to the main lab center, which is 300 kilometers away. And now that results to more than 13 days of turnaround time. And surprisingly is that most of the budget, up to 70% of the such programs in these areas, 70% of it goes to logistics. So that just tells you how hectic and cumbersome it is. So our solution, we are designing and manufacturing and also operating these drones. Our drone has a range of 70 kilometers. It can carry a payload of up to 4 kilograms. So that's 4 kilograms of medical supplies. If it's blood, we can carry 8 pints of blood, and has a flight time of 1 hour. Our drone is also uniquely, has a unique capability of vertical takeoff and landing. So this means that we're able to take off and land from any point without the need of runways and other expensive infrastructure. And it also means that we can scale very fast to other operations without a lot of capital expenditure. So the previous case study, this is the impact we're able to have. We can be able to reduce the 8 hours to only 40 minutes from the remote clinics to the main lab, and then reduce the turnaround time of getting your test results from 13 days to 24 hours, while reducing the medical logistics budgets, excuse me, by 20%. So SwiftLab is a vertically integrated company, and we're able to get revenues from different verticals, one including manufacturing, where we sell drones directly to other organizations. We have Davia, which is a South African drone company. Oxford Aerospace is our official Europe distributor of drone. In operations, we are working with other organizations to set up medical logistics deliveries. We have BloodLink, we have Posta Kenya, whom we've already signed a contract with, and we have Robotics. While we also provide end-to-end services, this means that we customize solutions according to what the client wants, and we're working with Kunhe Nagel and Roche as well. there's already a market that's currently not satisfied globally. So in 2020, the demand for drones was only 12 million units, while by 2025, that figure will have grown to 8.5 million units. And then for drone deliveries, there were 117 million deliveries in 2020, and that will have grown by more than 20 times in 2025. So that just means that there's a huge gap that has not yet been satisfied. For competitive analysis, our drone and technology is up to par to what is currently in the market. It can do 70 kilometers of range and also has vertical takeoff and landing, as I've explained, compared to other methods which are expensive, like catapult and wire capture landing. So what we plan to do in June 2021, we received our manufacturing and operations license from Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. And we did our first, what I would call first small round of fundraising in September 2021. So in July, that enabled us to scale the production of drones. So in July 2022, we plan to launch our project with Posta Kenya, and also probably roll out, maybe by next year, roll out to other East Africa markets and sell our drones to the Europe market. Our customers include Posta Kenya, which were mentioned and we've signed a contract with. We also have Bayer. We have We Robotics, which is an international NGO supporting drone operations, and we have Davea. These are just few among the many that we're already working with. These I have mentioned, this was the signing of the contract between SwiftLab and Postal Corporation of Kenya. Our team is comprised of James Kiwa, who's the CEO and with more than 10 years of experience in aircraft design and drone operations. We have Engineer Njogu with also more than 5 years of experience in drone operations. He's the CTO. We have myself, the CEO, with more than 5 years of experience in drone operations. We have Eric Nyamoro, who's the business development with experience in policies and government. And we have Nelson Wade, also a business development team. Our team is much bigger. We are supported by a cool and brilliant team of engineers who make things happen. Yes, thank you so much for listening and look forward to your questions.
Thank you so much, Lillian. Maybe if you could just go back to your financials. What type of financing are you looking for, and the technicalities around your ask?
Yes, thank you for that question. So we are looking for equity funding. Previously, what we've received have been non-equity funding, including loan and also grants from organizations. So right now we're looking for a seed round of $1 million. The last time we had done a valuation that would have translated to around 12%, but I think with the current rate of growth that may have changed slightly, and we would be ready for a negotiation with an interested investor.
And what percentage of your equity is on offer?
What I've said right now is would be willing. The last time we did an evaluation, the $1 million would translate to around 12%.
Thank you. Any question from the investors in the room? You can raise your hand, post a chat. Yeah, then since there are no questions, I would welcome you to join in the umbrella profile where you'd get to see the work that we're doing. Okay, Charlene is asking what's the breakdown of revenue, sales of drone deliveries, etc. in terms of percentage? What is the turnaround time of manufacturing a drone to using it? And do you have an IP patent on the drone technology? Good question, Charlene.
Yes. Good questions there. So our percentages of revenues, majority comes from the operations. That's our real focus, and that's where we see like there exists a real opportunity. So that takes around 65%, and the sale of drones take around 35% of the revenues. The turnaround time for manufacturing a drone. So currently it's 2 to 3 weeks, but that will be easily scaled when we fundraise and we set up a smooth processing operation, a smooth manufacturing operation, and that could easily reduce to 1 week to get a drone out. Then finally, you asked.
The question was, do drone technology?
Pardon?
Have you do you have an IP patent on the drone technology?
Yes, good question there. So we are not patenting the hardware part. The interesting part is also we are building supporting software and systems to make our drones more reliable in the market. So our IP will be targeting our IP will be addressing the software system.
Thank you so much for that. If there are no further questions, how do you compete with Zipline? That's from Takeshi Kato.
Yes, go to that slide and maybe explain a bit. So, first of all, Zipline, the payload capability of the drones is half of what our drone is able to carry. They carry 1.75 kilograms, well, we're able to carry 4 kilograms. And also the method of takeoff and landing is catapult and wire capture landing, and while we use a totally different method, which is vertical takeoff and landing capability. So this capability has a lot of impact and effect on how different our operations are. So for them, they cannot be able to land at the site where they are delivering. So they can only take off from their base operation and land at their base operation. And that's why they only drop their goods from the air, using parachute. So for ourselves, we take off at our base point and we are able to land at our destination. So at maybe it's a remote clinic, we're able to land, and that means that we're able to do reverse logistics. We can be able to now carry samples from the remote clinic back to the base center. That is not possible with the Zipline's method of operation. Then also secondly, you find that the same catapult and wire capture landing, it's very expensive, not only to set up, but also to operate. It requires a lot of power. So maybe in a year, just setting that up, it requires quite a big investment in terms of capital that the masses don't really get to know. But for ourselves, because we only need, like we can even land from a parking lot or a school field, that means literally our expenses of expanding operations or just setting up any base, it's almost non-existent. So by just those two factors, we believe that we're in the same industry, but also we are approaching it in a much different way. Yeah.
Thank you, Shalim. And thank you, Takeshi, for the question. So, if you have any additional questions or you would want to meet Anne and team, drop me an email, visit the umbrella profile, and we hope you get to engage with them more. So, on behalf of myself, I am Kelly Matayan, and on behalf of the Avishka Group, the Sankar Africa team, I wish you all a good night and a good morning to those joining us from the West. And we hope to see you on a Friday and enjoy the rest of Sankar. From my desk, I wish you all the best and goodbye.